Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now, I think we're supposed to start with text 15, but the bookmark was on text 16. Because I don't think we read 15 yet. How many verses we're covering? 15 through 22? 22. 20. 15 to 20. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim swaraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. Translation for text 15, Canto 9, Chapter 10. My Lord, you may use my water as you like. Indeed, you may cross it and go to the abode of Ravana, who is the great source of disturbance and crying for the three worlds. That's the meaning of his name, Ravana. He is the son of Vishrava, but is condemned like urine. Please, go kill him and thus regain your wife Sita Devi, O great hero. Although my water presents no impediment to your going to Lanka, please construct a bridge over it to spread your transcendental fame. Upon seeing this wonderfully uncommon deed of your lordship, all the great heroes and kings in the future will glorify you. Purport. It is said that a sun and urine emanate from the same source, the genitals. When a son is a devotee or a great learned person, the seminal discharge for begetting a son is successful. But if the son is unqualified and brings no glory to his family, he is no better than urine. Here, Ravana is compared to urine because he was a cause of disturbances to the three worlds. Thus, the ocean personified wanted him killed by Lord Ramachandra. Paragraph. One feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, is omnipotence. The Lord can act without regard to material impediments or inconveniences. But to prove that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and was not merely advertised as Godhead or elected by popular vote, he constructed a wonderful bridge over the ocean. Nowadays, it has become fashionable to create some artificial God who performs no uncommon activities, semicolon. A little magic will bewilder a foolish person into selecting an artificial God because he does not understand how powerful God is. Lord Ramachandra, however, constructed a bridge over the water with stone by making the stone float. This is proof of God's uncommonly wonderful power. Why should someone be accepted as God without displaying extraordinary potency by doing something never to be done by any common man? We accept Lord Ramachandra as Supreme Personality Godhead because he constructed this bridge. And we accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality Godhead because he lifted Govardhan Hill when he was only 7 years old. We should not accept any rascal as God or an incarnation of God, for God displays special features in his various activities. Therefore, the Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tattvataha chaktva deham punar janma naiti mameti sorjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. The activities of the Lord are not common. They are all transcendentally wonderful and not able to be performed by any other living being. The symptoms of the Lord's activities are all mentioned in the Shastras, and after one understands them, one can accept the Lord as he is. So we're going to text 20. Text 16, Shukadev Goswami said, after constructing a bridge over the ocean by throwing into the water the peaks of mountains, whose trees and other vegetation had been shaken by the hands of great monkeys, Lord Ramachandra went to Lanka and released Sita Devi from the clutches of Ravana. With the direction and help of Vibhishana, Ravana's brother, the Lord, along with the monkey soldiers headed by Sugriva, Nila, and Hanuman, entered Ravana's kingdom Lanka, which had previously been burnt by Hanuman. Purport. Great mountain peaks, covered with trees and plants, were thrown into the sea by the monkey soldiers and began to float by the supreme will of the Lord. By the supreme will of the Lord, many great planets float weightlessly in space, like swabs of cotton. If this is possible, why should great mountain peaks not be able to float on water? This is the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can do anything and everything he likes because he is not under the control of material nature. Indeed, material nature is controlled by him. Maya Jakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Only under his direction does Prakriti or material nature work. Similar information is given in the Brahma Samhita 5:52. Yasyagya Pramiti Sambritakala Chakro Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Describing how material nature works, the Brahma Samhita says that the sun moves as desired by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, for Lord Ramachandra to construct a bridge over the Indian Ocean with the help of monkey soldiers who threw great mountain peaks into the water is not at all wonderful. It is wonderful only in the sense that it has kept the name and fame of Lord Ramachandra eternally celebrated. Text 17. After entering Lanka, the monkey soldiers, led by the chiefs like Sugriva, Nila, and Hanuman, occupied all the sporting houses, granaries, treasuries, palace doorways, city gates, assembly houses, palace frontages, and even the resting houses of the pigeons. When the city's crossroads, platforms, flags, and golden water pots on its domes were all destroyed, the entire city of Lanka appeared like a river disturbed by a herd of elephants. 18. When Ravana, the master of the Rakshasas, saw the disturbances created by the monkey soldiers, he called Nikumbha, Kumbha, Dumraksha, Durmukha, Surantaka, Narantaka, and other Rakshasas, and also his son Indrajit. Thereafter he called Brahasta, Aitikaya, Vikampana, and finally Kumbhakarna. Then he induced all his followers to fight against the enemies. Text 19. Lord Ramachandra, surrounded by Lakshman and monkey soldiers like Sugriva, Hanuman, Gandha, Mada, Nila, Angada, Jambavan, and Panasa, attacked the soldiers of the Rakshasas, who were fully equipped with various invincible weapons like swords, lances, bows, prasas, Rishtis, Shakti arrows, Khadgas, and Tomaras. Doesn't explain what these are. And final verse. Angada, text 20. Angada and the other commanders of the soldiers of Ramachandra faced the elephants, infantry, horses, and chariots of the enemy and hurled against them big trees, mountain peaks, clubs, and arrows. Thus, the soldiers of Lord Ramachandra killed Ravana's soldiers who had lost all good fortune because Ravana had been condemned by the anger of Mother Sita. And the final purport for this morning. The soldiers of Lord Ramachandra, recruited in the jungle, were all monkeys and did not have proper equipment with which to fight the soldiers of Ravana, for Ravana's soldiers were equipped with weapons of modern warfare, whereas the monkeys could only throw stones, mountain peaks, and trees. It was only Lord Ramachandra and Lakshmana who shot some arrows. But because the soldiers of Ravana were condemned by the curse of Mother Sita, the monkeys were able to kill them simply by throwing stones and trees. There are two kinds of strength, Daiva and Purushakara. Purushakara. Daiva refers to the strength achieved from transcendence, and Purushakara refers to the strength organized by one's own intelligence and power. Transcendental power is always superior to the power of the materialist. Depending on the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one must fight one's enemies, even though one may not be equipped with modern weapons. Therefore, Krishna instructed Arjuna, Mam anusmara yudhyacha, think of me and fight. We should fight our enemy to the best of our ability, but for victory, we must depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sounds like a battle cry. Off to war. On the one hand, and on the other hand, on the other hand, Prabhupada would, from the scripture, speak about peace. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about peace, and how can peace be attained, and it's a coveted circumstance. And war is not the channel for peace. At least the activity itself is tumultuous by its very nature. However, on the other side, when necessary, then fight. Now, fighting can mean, as it's happening here, or in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, or for those who are Kshatriyas. And then there's another fighting, the fighting of the preacher, the fighting against the influences of Maya, and the influences of Maya are powerful. The enemy is powerful. For our in 1 week's time. Is that right? In 1 week's time, I'm going to be at the Illinois Institute of Technology, IIT. Illinois Institute of Technology. And the topic is something like, our Arjuna moments. Because at the IIT program, they also have a Krishna house right on campus or adjacent to campus. And there's a number of young men that stay there. And they've, for 20 years, they've had a nice program. And they're because of the audience, they're just focusing on Bhagavad Gita. And I was asked to speak on something Bhagavad Gita. So that was the topic. I selected the topic, our Arjuna moments. And there's there's the one side and the other side. So what do those moments feel like? It depends. The mind's orientation, but challenge can be awesome and formidable and intimidating and etc. And on the other hand, it can be a big adventure. Not foolish adventure, but a wise adventure. And that our founder Acharya did like that. Like Mission Impossible, there's nothing impossible. What's impossible? If Krishna wants, is something impossible? No. Does Krishna want? Krishna wants. And we're little specks. We're quite insignificant. Quite insignificant. And the opposition is quite formidable. Mission Impossible looked like. But somehow, the somehow is on the one hand, and the other hand, the emphasis that's given in the purport is because the enemy or Ravana and those who were supporting Ravana, doing Ravana's bidding, had lost the favor of Sita, or they had gained the wrath of Sita. So for sure they would be defeated. And they stack up the odds. We heard the purport and the verses, all kinds of the same thing that we face in dealing with the citadel of Maya. Ooh. This and that and the other thing and the other thing and the other thing. Very formidable. But falls like a house of cards in the face of when the purpose is right and the mandate to carry out that purpose is right. And here in this case, there's a leader, Ramachandra, and Lakshmana. Now they have weapons, but when there's a proper leadership, direction giving activity, then one can get courage and strength, and as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, victory is assured. Now, in the course of victory is assured, there can be some setbacks. That's part of a battlefield. No, the whole language of battlefield is kind of intimidating, because who likes battles? But here we are, in the material world, where it's in Prabhupada's words, surcharged with opposition. Surcharged with opposition. And we'd be foolish to think otherwise. The forces of opposition are surcharged. They have tools, and so forth and so on. But purity is the force, and preaching is the essence. Utility is the principle. So we have our formula. Because just the other day was the appearance day of Ramanujacharya. And the name Ramanuja is a name of Lakshmana. The Anuja of Rama is Lakshmana, the follower of Rama. So he, Ramanujacharya, had as a teacher like a super duper impersonalist, not just his teacher was a super duper impersonalist, very schooled and trying to school his students in impersonalism. And because there was opposition from Ramanuja, he tried to kill him. And Krishna saved him. The deity in his town, Kanchipurna, Vardaraja saved him. And then in the end, circumstances, Yadava Prakash became his Diksha disciple. Now, it's always, not all stories have a happy ending like that. But that's what happened in his case, Ramanuja. And so he wasn't intimidated. And so many nice examples. We should be thoughtful and prudent and wise in the next step and strategies, and not cavalier nor casual, but prepared for the needful. Going to go back a little bit besides just like this blood curdling scene towards the end of the Vanaras entering. So another major topic here is the ability of the personality of Godhead to make rocks float. It's not within, it's contrary to the laws of nature. Rocks don't float. And there's this example, the other example, different Ramayana versions say different things. They wrote the name of Ram and that caused it to float, and different ideas. But, trees and mountain peaks, how are they going to write Ram's name on a tree and a mountain peak? So different versions. But this here in the Bhagavatam, he just his transcendental potency, like he can make planets in space float. Science may have their explanation of how that happens, weightlessness in space and so on. But, he doesn't require a scientist to tell him you can't do that or you can do that. He can make mountain peaks float. 8 miles worth. And then, the emphasis of the personality of Godhead will, and even goes must, display some power. But he's Bhagavan. And if he doesn't show the features of Bhagavan, of course, the personality of Godhead may conceal his opulences, doesn't reduce him, but if circumstance requires, or by his choice, he may at times display opulences. And, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did that. So we don't want to go too far afield from this section of the Bhagavatam. And, the purpose of our reading this section of the Bhagavatam is because in 2 days we'll be honoring Ramachandra's appearance. But Mahaprabhu is the personality of Godhead, but he exhibited wonderful qualities and capacities and powers. So we don't need to go there because he did that. I mean, Vasudeva the leper, instant miracle cure. You know the story? You think so? There was when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Puri to go ostensibly looking for his brother because his brother had taken sannyas, so he was going to look for his brother, the needle in the haystack, somewhere in South India. Good luck. Anyway, chanting the names of the Supreme Lord with his arms raised, and everyone seeing this spectacle of his ecstasy of love of God. And the very first stop was a town, a place where a leper lived, but the leper was a devotee. The devotee had leprosy. He's so bad that the worms that would fall from his body, he put them back because he was merciful. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw him and he embraced him and made his body whole again. Miracle cure, and other things and other things. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had the capacity to exhibit his features of unparalleled quality. But that doesn't make him Bhagavan, but that's something he did. And I'm not familiar, like Prabhupada was familiar with, the number of persons in India that claim to be God or Bhagavan by name or by, default. And then saying everybody's God and so forth and so on. And somebody does a little trick with magic and then he's God. So something extraordinary. And certainly Ramachandra displayed, Krishna displayed, the personality of God, it has that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed, has that capacity. But it's kind of a checkmate, not just a challenge, but it's a checkmate. Someone doesn't have that capacity. We don't accept. What to speak of what Scripture says. The highest of all authorities besides something that one can perceive with one's senses. What's the authority behind someone making such a claim or persons making such claim about someone? What's the authority? What's the scriptural authority? Without scriptural authority, sorry, Charlie, we just don't accept. You can accept, but we don't accept. And many other, what are the characteristics of a divine being? So divine and demoniac characteristics and so forth and so on. So there's such harmony and between Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and quite naturally, we hear in this Bhagavatam, we hear about the other avatars that are emanations, as it's said in chapter 3 of Canto 1. All the avatars, they're from the avatari, they're from Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. So we hear about them. And some persons like one or another or others. There's a teenage girl, an ISKCON teenage girl, mom and dad, parents, she's a nice devotee, she chants and everything. She has a fascination for Lord Varaha. Or, etc. And it's just fine. Doesn't mean she looks down her nose at other forms of the Lord. It doesn't have any attraction, fascination for Krishna, but there may be some attraction. What inspires that attraction? Ask Super Soul. But some attraction. Fantastic. And there's a place for that in the Hare Krishna movement, the place for that in the Bhagavatam. And okay, so now we're going back to this chapter 10 of Canto 9, the Ramchandra, the focus is going to him because he's going to appear shortly. You celebrate his appearance. And wonderful, filled with wonder, narrations about him that inspire thoughts of him. So that's a nice opportunity. And then the next one, then the next one. The appearance of Lord Nrsimhadev, then the appearance of Balaram, the appearance of Krishna, the appearance. There's opportunities for meditation and absorption in the personality of God, carrying us to, if we follow the thread properly, takes us to our original consciousness. Even we're in the midst of, dark place. Somehow here we are. And entangled in different ways in the dark place. But the medicine, the cure, the light of the Bhagavad provides nice opportunity for mitigation of that misfortune. Today's a travel day, so I'm going to end and see if there's some discussion. Yes, Hare Krishna. Nice to see so many devotees this morning. You will have busy lives also, but it's nice to see so many nice devotees here. Go ahead.
Maharaj, I have two questions. The first question is, Srila Prabhupada has given a lot of books, including Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada has not commented on Mahabharata and Ramayana. Yeah, so is there a line where we should have that, we should read Prabhupada books first and then get into Mahabharata, Ramayana? Or
well, here's Prabhupada's answer. When you have an ice cream cone, you can lick on any side and it's sweet. Or he brought with him first canto Bhagavatam. So there's some hint. I mean, there's a reason for it. But without going into the reason for it, he's told the Bhagavatam, then Bhagavad Gita. And I remember very clearly, 1970, that's a few years ago, 1970, Nectar of Devotion was published. So morning Bhagavatam class, evening Bhagavad Gita class, and then it was third class during the day. After lunch, Nectar Devotion class. Every day. So take your pick. And just leave, Shri Upanishad. But that wasn't done at that time. So anyone. Now, it's natural that a natural sequence, having said all that, a natural sequence is Bhagavad Gita as an introduction. And then it starts to unfold further. But it's nice to read more than one fundamental literature, and then slowly work your way through. Second question.
Yeah, Maharaj. So this is just a curious question. So various paramparas, they have different tilaks.
Different what?
Tilak.
Tilak, yeah.
Tilak. Yeah, so in the spiritual world, which tilak Lord Ramachandra actually wears?
You want to know what kind of tilak did he wear? That's your question? Oh, I don't know. Depends on which sampradaya you're from, how they paint it. But I don't know of any description what kind of tilak he wore. Urdhvam upwards, that kind, Vaishnav tilak. Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I was wondering, in the story of Vasudeva the leopard,
Yeah.
I was feeling like we're also kind of like Vasudeva the leopard. We don't have oozing sores on the body, but inside of us, we have many oozing sores. And I was wondering, how does Lord Chaitanya cures those sores within us?
Well, you know the answer. You can give the answer.
Shravanam Kirtanam?
Ah. Thank you very much. No. It's not just the behavior, it's the mercy that comes with the behavior. That's how. But, with the behavior, with the holy name, or with Hari Katha, or Bhagavat Katha, comes mercy. So there's a nice package. But it's not just a behavior. It's receiving the mercy from the merciful sound, and with that sound, within that sound is the merciful association. Others? Good
Hare
team.
Krishna.
Go ahead.
I had a question. You were speaking about the name of Lord Ram.
The
and
name.
the name of Lord Ram and how it carries so much potency. And naturally, I was thinking about the name of Krishna. And the name of Krishna means all attractive. So I was wondering if you could elaborate on this name of Krishna, which means all attractive.
Oh, I thought the question was going to go in a different direction. Which when we say Ram, which one is it? This one, that one, or the other one?
Went towards Krishna.
And it's all three. But that's another question. So, attractiveness and all attractiveness is within the personality of Godhead. Everything is within the personality of Godhead, and the ability or the power to attract is unlimitedly is within the all attractive. So within the sound vibration, all the attractiveness is there. And the person, how does he attract? The Supreme Person attracts through his opulences, his bhagas. I was thinking about this morning because hearing a class this morning, Prabhupada was speaking about opulences, and he wasn't using vibhutis, he was using bhaga, because both terms mean opulences. But then there's the opulences of Bhagavan that only Bhagavan has. He possesses bhagas. It's six in category, and then subdivisions of those six. That's his attractiveness in full. And someone may have some empowerment from Bhagavan, and that's also attractive. But that empowerment from Bhagavan comes from Bhagavan. And that's part of his attractiveness. It's part of his attractiveness. Just because you're asking me to expand on this, the attractiveness of the feature of Krishna's name being the all attractive. When we say, Prabhupada, we say the king is coming, the king is coming. Is he walking down the street alone, or is he coming with a whole entourage? The king is coming. So part of the attractiveness of the king is his entourage and the opulence of the entourage. And so that is found in the devotees who are decorated with the attractiveness of the all attractive. And that's part of the attractiveness of Krishna. He decorates his devotees. And those decorations enhance the attractiveness of his devotees, which a wise person sees that's because of Krishna. He's the source of that attractiveness. And then you can take it further. You take it further. Take it further by saying that even the material energies, they are also Krishna, like he indicates in 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita. There's material and there's spiritual, and then there's the source of all, material and spiritual. And that's the attractiveness of anything, whether it's fragrance or beauty or sound or something. He's all attractive. Someone can sing nicely. Where's that ability come from? And it comes from the all attractive. So material or spiritual? He is the all attractive. And then one can be attracted to the all attractive by recognizing even such and such, the light of the sun and the moon, or the taste of water, or something. That attractive, that satisfaction, or whatever it is, that's from the all attractive. There's no limit. But it's all resting upon the all attractive. And all of that's within the name. And the form, and the qualities, and the nice pastimes. Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
You hold the microphone too close, a little further away.
All right.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, you talked about the fighting has to be done as needed in the beginning of the class.
I'm having a hard time hearing.
Okay.
I have a hearing aid, but I'm not wearing it
Okay.
because I don't like it. So be kind to me. Speak slowly and clearly, and not so close like this. Not so close like this.
Sure. Hare Krishna Maharaj, in the beginning of the class, you mentioned about fighting has to be done for the right, for if needed. And in the modern world, we are facing conflicts everywhere. So to what extent we should fight and what extent we should not fight,
Right
what is the right?
cause,
Yeah.
go for it. And by the right means, a little intelligence, please. With the right cause. So our fighting, of course, there's different natures, different according to the Varnashram system, different natures of different persons. Largely, our fighting is on the front of shelter or not taking shelter of the Supreme. That's our field of activity, field of fighting. That's the right cause. That for us, that's a right cause. That's for sure a right cause. And then we have to be smart. Super soul can give intelligence how to conduct.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Supreme Lord Krishna has 64 qualities. Sir, Ramachandra has
64 principal qualities. Yeah, the unlimited qualities.
Lord Ram also has 64 or?
Oh, this is a nectar devotion question. There are some qualities that Krishna has that Ramachandra doesn't have. We don't find Ramachandra with a flute, and etc. So he has most of the qualities and not in fullness as Krishna has in fullness.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Up front.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for nice Bhagavatam class. So my question is continuation to the Kamalnayana Prabhu. So is that the distinction of the Sri Rama Rama Rametis, Sri Rama Nama Sahasra Nama Tatulyam. So 3 Ram Nam is equivalent to 1000 Vishnu and 3 Ram equal to 1 Krishna. So is that the attainment or result attainment, is that difference, is that due to the difference in qualities, or how to understand that?
Not exactly qualities, because that formula is not exactly the description found in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The qualities and the potency of are not one-to-one correlation of comparing. To be honest, I'd have to go back and look carefully at what Rupa Goswami writes, because that's the authority that, that's the Supreme Court, the final authority for us. So I can't recall the language that he used, so I wouldn't want to misrepresent. So I recommend that you find in Nectar Devotion, or you find Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu translation that gives those percentages, and that's a standard that we can go by. Now, your question is a different question. It's how many names and how many names. So they're not corresponding. The qualities and the names comparison is not corresponding. But the most important, my appreciation at least, is the references made by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is the most important for us, because the nature of what we're doing is bhakti, and bhakti has rasa, and rasa has, some stimulations of that rasa. So that's where my appreciation is. That's where our attention should primarily go. And if somebody wants, and many people do, they like to chant different names, which is just fine. So chant the name. And there's some special attractiveness to the all attractive. Somebody sent me this nice quote from Rupa Goswami from Lanka Bhagavatamrita, about Krishna making a declaration that of his different features, the one that he likes the most is the son of Dasarath, Lord Ram. I like that one. It's his feature. This is a nice quote. So I sent this morning, I sent that to a devotee that's super immersed in Ramayana and Ram Leela. And he sent a message back. I was very touched by this quote from Jiva Rupa Goswami. So any one of the forms, and we all know devotees, someone's in Nrsinga Bhakta, someone's a this and someone's a that, and it's just fantastic. And there's something super fantastic about Krishna Bhakti. No denial, something super fantastic. And the persons who are Ram Bhaktas and Nrsinga Bhaktas, they know it's Krishna is super fantastic and they're attached to Nrsinga or Ram or whatever form of the Lord. You know, attraction to the spiritual platform is the important thing. And detachment from material entanglement is the consequence of spiritual attraction. So we don't quibble. We can distinguish, but we don't quibble. And I think I'm going to end, if that's okay, because I have to do the 23 skidoo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.